should Christians practice yoga? Now, a great place to start in answering this question is to define what we mean by yoga. If we mean just stretching for mental health, that's very different than the Eastern practice of yoga, which could involve the worship of other gods and compromise of the Christian faith. So let's first clarify between the Western practice of yoga and at least the roots of Eastern yoga, where it comes from, and often how it's practiced. Now, I think we can get a lesson from 1 Corinthians chapter 8. A similar experience happened. Paul is wrestling with the question, should Christians eat meat sacrificed to idols? The first thing he says is these idols don't exist. They're not real. But Christians ought to be careful based upon how other believers might view them if they go ahead and eat this meat sacrificed to idols. So Paul says it's permissible, but not always wise. I think the same thing applies to yoga. As long as it's not the kind of practice directly contradicting the worship of the one God, I think Paul would say it's permissible. But be wise how our practice of yoga affects ourself and our spiritual life, and certainly other believers and even non-believers. So if you practice yoga, just consider a few questions. What is the purpose of the very place that you go to? What has the instructor said is the reason or goal of this practice? Second, is there anything about it that violates your conscience or your worship of God directly? And third, how does practicing yoga shape the way non-believers and other Christians view God and view you as a follower of the one true God? So I think Paul would say yoga is in the realm of things that are permissible, but let's just be wise.